thank you for joining me today. And I'd like to teach in the book of Proverbs today. And there's three words I'd like to focus on today: understanding, knowledge, and wisdom. So let's open our Bible and go to Proverbs 3, and I'm going to start in verse 13. It says, "Happy is the man that finds wisdom, and the man that gains understanding. For the merchandise of it is better than the merchandise of silver, and the gain thereof of fine gold." So right there, the word's saying that whatever you can purchase with silver or with gold does not compare to having wisdom. And then it says, "She is more precious than rubies, and all the things you desire are not compared to her." So now even other things that are more precious, are fancier, of things that you truly desire, even if you have them, it still does not compare to having wisdom. And then it explains why. It says, "Length of days are in her right hand, and in her left hand riches and honor." So your lifespan can be increased through having wisdom, and it'll even help you with the spending of your finances. And it says, "Her ways are of pleasantness, and all her paths peace." And in this word is the only place you can truly find pure peace. And it continues, "She is a tree of life to them that lay hold of her, and happy is everyone that retains her." So your life will be longer, your life will be happier, you'll have more peace in your life, but you have to retain wisdom. You have to continue to study for wisdom, to seek the Lord and ask Him for wisdom. But we'll get to that in a minute. And it says in verse 19, it says, "Yahuwah by wisdom has founded the earth. By understanding He has established the heavens. By His knowledge the depths are broken up, and the clouds drop down the dew." That's a really neat, interesting verse. So now that we talked about understanding and knowledge and wisdom, let's go over the definitions of them three. Understanding is to grasp something's nature or significance. Knowledge is the content of your mind, all the things you've studied. But wisdom, and this is a combination because of dictionaries and other things, and I kind of combined them all together and asked the Lord, just let me be able to have a simple definition of wisdom that I could understand. And this is what He gave me. Wisdom is taking your knowledge and understanding of something and using that something to its greatest potential for good. Think about that. I'm going to read that one more time. Taking your knowledge and understanding of something and using that something to its greatest potential for good. And I understand things can be used for bad also, but here I'm speaking of heavenly wisdom and all the things that the Bible talks about, that how wisdom can be used for good, for length of days, for peace, for happiness and everything. And if you're asking, well, I'd like to have more wisdom, the Lord even answers that question. Let's go to James. I want to go to James 1:5. And this is what it says. So if you're looking to seek wisdom, go to this verse. It says, "If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all liberally." Think about that, liberally. That always reminded me of like going over to Grandma's house, and the table would just be filled with food, and you could just always have whatever you want. That's like God's table. Everything He wants to give us, He gives liberally. And it says without reproach. In other words, that actually means to discredit. So He's not going to discredit us for not having enough wisdom. Because right now He's saying just ask, and He's going to give you as much as you can understand at the time. And it says, so he'll give liberally and without reproach, and it will be given to him. So that's a neat statement. So we need to ask. But there's one stipulation if you're going to ask for wisdom. It says, but let him who asks, ask in faith, with no doubting. For he who doubts is like the wave of the sea, driven and tossed by the wind. For let that man suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord. In other words, if you're going to ask, you need to believe that your prayer is going to be answered. Because if you don't, it says he is a double-minded man, unstable in all his ways. So if you're going to ask the Lord for wisdom, believe he's going to give it to you, and he will. Because he wants to give it liberally, he wants to give it without reproach, and through it, not only will it be a blessing to you, but it'll be a blessing to the Father too, because he'll be happy with his child. So I'd like to thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a blessed day, and we'll see you next time. Amen.